Flosstube! Welcome to my channel, Bobo Stitch and Quilt. I am Jessie. This is a channel primarily about cross stitch. And for those of you who are returning, welcome back. As always, I appreciate you spending some time with me. And for those of you who are new, welcome. I hope that we have a good time in the little bit of time that we have together. So, what's been going on? Quite a bit, I guess, in the COVID world of quite a bit. We have been, I took this week off this was U.S. Thanksgiving week. That was this past Thursday. Today is Sunday, November 29th. I'm recording this a little earlier in the day, thus it's laundry day. But I took the whole week off. I did have to work a couple of days, or a couple of hours on some of the days, but, I didn't realize how much I needed the vacation. Even though we didn't do anything, we had originally planned to go to my in-laws outside of Austin for Thanksgiving this week. But there's a massive surge happening of COVID cases in the U.S. in general and Texas as well. And the guidelines basically were, if you weren't already living with people, you should go ahead and shelter in place. A couple of my family members had been exposed, and although have tested negative, we're still within that 14-day quarantine period. My husband is high risk, and so we were like, it's one holiday. Let's do what we're asked to do. Let's stay at home. Let's be safe. My family, similarly, I didn't see my brothers, and they were by themselves. I called them, and that was pretty much it. That's how we spent Thanksgiving together. And in fact, my brother had to come pick up something. Because of COVID, we weren't able to celebrate my niece's birthday with them, and which was in October. And so he came by to pick up some things, and including her birthday gift. At the end of November, her birthday, I feel terrible about that. And because he's potentially exposed, like, we didn't even see each other. Like, we left our door open. We have two doors, and we left one of those doors open, and with the stuff right there, and he just came in and picked it up and left. Like, we didn't even like, he called us and like, I picked it up. So it's like, it's unfortunate. Very optimistic about the vaccine. I think it'll be months. I have a friend who is in healthcare, and so she's a little bit informed about what's happening in her state when it comes to the vaccine and when it's likely to be distributed. And the first round is not enough for even all of the healthcare providers that work in hospital settings. So she works in a hospital setting, and she was telling us this last night in on our friend's Zoom call that we have on a monthly basis. And so she doesn't expect that she will be one of the first rounds, even though she works in a hospital setting, is high risk and everything. So I think it's going to be a while before everything kind of gets out there. But I am cautiously optimistic, but in the meantime, we'll do what we can, and hopefully, by staying home and doing what we need to do for Thanksgiving, we will still be able to go for Christmas, which is still the plan. The plan is to go spend about a week with them. As right now, I don't know what their schedule is, but we'll be there for at least 3 to 5 days, and so hopefully, that will make up for Thanksgiving. But that being said, because I took the week off, my husband took Monday off. We got the tree started, so we have a giant 10-foot tree, and I haven't taken pictures or anything yet. So, but if I take a picture, I'll insert it here. But I'll make a conscious thought to take a picture. But it's huge. It's 10 feet tall, and thankfully we do have the ceilings to allow for it. But because of how massive it is, it's hard to put up. And so we started on Monday, and obviously we didn't do this like full time, like 8 hours a day, like starting on Monday. But we started on Monday, and we finished on Wednesday. And Wednesday we finished putting everything out. I don't know what my dog is barking at. It's maybe there's some squirrels outside or something. Hopefully she'll calm down in a minute. Um, but so the so yeah, so it takes us a while, and we got the decor out and everything, and so it's very nice. And of course, I think because of how hard it is to put up the tree, think we should put it up after Halloween. Like I am of the November 1st tree up school of thought. My husband, however, was like, it's got to give Thanksgiving its due. And so we do actually have Thanksgiving decorations. Like we do have like a Thanksgiving wreath and autumny kind of decor and stuff like that. So we do have that out. So it's not like you know, we completely bypass it. But, but it's kind of funny because this year he was like, "You're right." He goes, "I love this tree. We should put it up earlier next year." And so I was like, "Well, yay!" So, anyway, so that's and I did a lot of stitching. And did I do anything else productive? No, I didn't. Again, like I was like, I needed this time off, and I just didn't want to do anything. We did a little bit of cleaning in relation to putting up the decorations. What's really funny is that I started putting together my plan. So we're going to start segueing into stitching now. But I started putting together my 2021 plans, and I've been writing them out and what I'm going to be doing. And it's kind of funny because I was like, oh, well, you start thinking about resolutions. And so now I'm like, oh, it's December. Maybe I should start working on my 2020 resolutions. Yeah, because I always have a resolution to kind of organize. Like, I've lived in my house. Like, I've lived in my house for about 15 years, 16 years, and my husband moved into my home with me, and you know, and I wish you could just pick up a house and shake it. And like there's a part of me that just thinks like moving would be helpful because it will force us to organize. I'm not sure that's actually true. I think a lot of people end up just packing their crap in and moving their stuff that they would normally get rid of. But so we have been very slowly but surely KonMariing the house. So we follow the Joy school of getting rid of things, and Joy also includes practical things that gives you tools that you can do things that you need to do with them. Like, so we're not like I think honestly, I think that people understand the intention behind it. They're just being kind of mean. But so we're trying to get the house slowly but surely organized. And so we did a little bit of that as we were like putting up the tree and everything. But it's kind of like, man, I really got to get this stuff done, because it's like, it's kind of odd because my commute was long. Like it's an hour to hour and a half was my drive time when I was commuting, and that usually is when I needed to decompress from my work day. And I'm a workaholic, so it doesn't mean that I got home and didn't work if I had to. But for the most part, when I would get home, I was home, and that drive time was enough to decompress from my work day. And I could actually get home and do things if I needed to. Like if I needed to, whatever, clean, whatever. I could do it. I could be in the mental space to do it. Because we're not commuting anymore, like I find myself not really doing that. Like I don't have that decompression time. And so I go straight into my evening routines, which is sitting down, stitching, watching TV, whatever. And as opposed to decompressing and then like, now it's 7 o'clock and I can get some cleaning done and whatever, right? Like, so anyways, I will be taking off for Christmas again. I'll be off for 2 weeks at that stage, and although we'll be spending almost half of that time, all going well, with my in-laws, I'm hoping to get some cleaning done at that point in time. Anyways, but I am working on my stitching plans for 2021, and I'm going to talk about that in real detail in my end of the year or beginning of the year. I'm going to do a whole video on that because it's still a work in progress. It's kind of a preview. I've decided to join the Magical Stitches Facebook group. There are a couple of people that I watch who do it, and but mostly it's Angie Stokes. Angie. I really just remember her first name, but I'll put a note below. I'll make a note right now to my show notes here to make sure I include Angie. But she does it, and she always brings it up, and I just think that sounds fun. And there's a reading component to it. And I did not meet my Goodreads goal this year. I'm going to be short by 5 books, maybe 4, depends on what book I pick up in December and how quickly I can read it. But I think I'm going to end up being short by 4 books this year. And I was like, well, I like that there's also a reading component to it. They're going to be doing the Percy Jackson series this year. And so I was like, I'm going to join it. I don't know if I'm going to join a team. I'm not, I just always worry that I don't know what my life is like for work. And there are times where work is really, really busy and I end up working like a 60-hour week and it's just nuts. And then there's times where it's like, it's fine. I could, if I needed to, I could get away with like a 30-hour week, right? Like it's, and because of that, I don't like to make long-term commitments because I just don't know. Not that I couldn't do it. I mean, it's cross-stitching. But anyway, so I'm probably going to join the helper team for this year because it's a competitive year. I would say that I don't know anything about this. It's my first time joining it. I'm just kind of learning it as I kind of read what's happening in the Facebook group. But they're calling it a competitive year. And because it's a competitive year, I don't want, like I would want to be sure to be a contributing member of a team. And because I can't guarantee that I can be a contributing member the whole year, I was like, I'll join as a helper for right now. And then as I see it progress, if it turns out that I'm like, no, I can do this for sure. I can be part of a competitive team. When a space opens up, I'll join it. Or when it opens up mid-year, according to Vicky, who's the group admin, that they'll have an opportunity for a mid-year joining of teams, then I'll join at that stage. So, but that's kind of my plan. So I've been kind of putting together that stuff. In general, I sat down this week and made a list of, I'm not very good at maintaining the list. And so I finally made my list of all the patterns that I have, everything I had kitted up, and things I wanted to stitch, because I'm also going to be doing whip go. And I got a lot of stuff, y'all. Like, I was a fairly monogamous stitcher before COVID, and I bought stuff, but I didn't necessarily stitch on multiple things. So it's I was really surprised at how much shopping I actually did this year. I did a lot of therapy shopping, I think. So I went through and I kind of figured it out. Nothing unmanageable. Like I haven't hit a stage where I'm like, is this what I want to stitch in my lifetime versus not? Like, I haven't hit that stage. Like, everything I have, I think, is manageable. I can get it done in the next 3 to 5 years. Like, it's, but at the same time, it's kind of like, I bought a ton of stuff. So anyway, so that's my preview of my 2021 plans. I'll have everything kind of finalized, and I did a lot of purchases in these last couple of weeks to be able to kit up more things, and and I think I have reasonable goals. I am a progress stitcher, being that I'm more focused on finishing and moving towards seeing the project get completed, as opposed to process, which is just in the process of cross-stitching, and it's just meditative and things like that. I find it meditative. I do find the process to be very enjoyable, but I am driven by goals and seeing a plan come together, basically, right? Like, I'm driven that way. I'm that way when I work. I'm that way. I'm very like, let's make a plan. Let's make some goals, smart goals for work. I guess I could do that for stitching. I've never done that for stitching, but but I have like these goals. So I'm like, okay, I want to get through 500 stitches in a week or something like that. Like, I already create those mental goals for myself, and so I'm going to try to kind of formalize that a little bit more for 2021, just so that way I can kind of maintain a type of a schedule. So, but that's my plans for 2021. That's a preview. Once I really have everything finalized, I'll do a whole video and then show you the whip parade, and the whip parade being the works in progress, and what I hope will be my new starts, that type of thing. So, what have I accomplished since we had this last video? Not a lot, but a lot. So, I have 2 FFOs for this week, which if you saw my Flosstube Extra, you already know what I've done. And then I only have one, I only worked on one project since the last video, so I only have one whip to show you. And then I'm going to talk about my Flossmas plants. So, all right. So, without further ado, I'm going to start with Christmas is Coming. So, this is from Barbara Anna, and I finished this like in August. Well, no, September? Finished it in September. And so I finally sat down and FFO'd, and here it is on this giant sleigh. Look how big this is. Like, look at me for scale, right? Like, it's a giant. This is temporary right now. I have it taped on because I'm still living with the idea of whether or not I want to do this, because it's huge. This is a wall decor for Michael's. I saw it online, and I saw the measurements. And again, if you've been watching me, you know that measurements mean nothing to me. Like I don't, I know what they mean, but like I don't actually take the minute to contemplate how big is that, you know. And plus, they only give you, you know, a certain aspect of the dimension, so it's hard to know until you see it, like really what that looks like. And so I saw this online, and I purchased it, and it was a curbside pickup, so I didn't even really see it when she was putting it into the car, because she just put it into my trunk of my car. And so when I got home and I pulled it out, I'm like, this thing is giant. This thing is giant. And so anyways, I still have the tag on it because I'm still trying to decide if I'm going to keep it. So anyways, tell me what your thoughts are. My best friend voted on it. She says she loved it, and to keep it as is, glue it on, like do what I need to do to finalize it, because I don't have to do anything else. I don't have to put the bows on and stuff like that. You know, so anyways, so that's the finish on the sticky boards, and that is, you know, I do like it. I mean, I will admit I do like it. The only hesitation I have is its size, really, and it's like, where am I going to put it? What am I going to do? Like, that's really my only. It's really my only thing about it. But I do, you know. But I see this, and I love it. So, anyways, I'm going to put it out in my decor. Let it sit there for a minute, and then kind of decide if I'm going to keep it. So that's my first FFO. My second one is the one that my Flosstube Extra was about. Oops, filtered my thing. And so I'm not going to go into super details on it, because if you're really interested in seeing the progress of what I did, please watch that video. It's about 20 minutes, but it's time-lapsed of everything I did throughout the day as I was putting it together. But it is the Frosted Pumpkins Chinese Zodiac that I have finished. Has a bamboo steamer, and so this is a 12-inch bamboo steamer. This is Chinese Zodiac from Frosted Pumpkin and I did the cording with looks like I need to go back and attach more glue right there. But I did the cording with the C816, so DMC with the Rainbow Bridge Gold. I don't know why I can't remember names of flosses today. Anyways, but that's what I did. I love it. Go ahead and watch that video for a little bit more details about the specifics on it. For my inside fabric, I had fabric from my stash, which was a Chinese Zodiac fabric mystery designer. I don't know who it's from because it's been in my stash. I love it. It's on both levels and on the bottom of that second level. And so I'm really super happy with this. I have not decided what I'm going to do with it at first, because it is big. It's 12 inches. It is pretty big. I thought about like using I thought maybe I could just use it for storage, right? Like I can use it for my fancy flosses or something. But then I was like, eventually it's going to get. I like my threads to hang. I do them as thread drops. I like them to hang. So I was like, I don't know if I like that, because it's going to be a little harder for me to, you know, identify them and pull them out and stuff like that. And so I did see someone Willow and Trout is the pattern designer, and so I follow her, and I did see someone like use them as like a project thing. Like it's where they were making little hexagons for hexagon quilts, and just kind of storing them in there and keeping their supplies to make them in the one level, and then the next level had like all the ones that they had made. Christmas Snoopy service. So I thought maybe I could use it as possibly as a project holder, but I don't know because it doesn't make sense. Anyways, I'm gonna think about how I'm gonna use it. I'm gonna figure it out, because I made it. I love it. I can't wait to use it. I did do some theme stitching for November because I thought that it's seasonal. It's time, and why not be in the spirit of Thanksgiving and autumn and everything along that lines. And so I thought, well, I'm going to just pull out some of my theme stitching. And while I do have more than one pattern, I don't have it fully kitted. I bought a lot of fabric in July. It was part of the Christmas in July sale from Hanging Threads for Picture This Plus. And of course, they're super delayed. I don't blame them. I'm not angry about that. And so Rogue Stitching, which I guess is a sister company to Hanging Thread, they offered to substitute things in, and for the other fabric companies that have a shorter production time, but those production times are still anywhere from 6 to 10 weeks, but it's compared to the current 22-week for Picture This Plus. And so I was like, well, that's fine. I don't, so I went ahead and substituted everything out. I placed all those orders about a week and a half ago. So while I do have things I could work on, I don't actually have. I kit to project. I don't build a stash. So I've never done that. I'm that way with my quilting as well. I used to build a stash, but then I found myself, basically my hobby became collecting fabric as opposed to the quilting. And so years ago I made a decision that I was not going to do that anymore. And so while I still have a stash from everything I collected, and it's not a huge, it's like one proper bookshelf of fabric, I now only purchase fabric to pattern, right? Like I'm going to make something, I buy the fabric for that, I make the project, and that's it. And so I'm that way with my cross stitching, and because I was a monogamy stitcher for the most part, it wasn't a big deal. So I don't keep stuff around. Like it would be leftovers. Like anything in my stash would be anything that was left over from the projects I had previously worked on. And so anyway, so I still don't really have a stash even for this year. So anyways, I don't think I'm going to change my style. Because again, I don't want to end up being a hoarder of things that I'll never use. That gives me that there are people who love their stuff and their fabric, and it looks beautiful in their craft rooms and brings them a lot of joy. That does not bring me joy. And so because it does not bring me joy, I try not to have a bunch of things that I don't know how I'm going to use around the house. But what I am doing a little differently going into 2021, because although I think that as the vaccine gets rolled out and has COVID hopefully we start to normalize a little bit, I think it's still going to take quite a bit of time for things to really truly normalize, and where we're going to be able to go out and do things and productions will pick up and blah blah blah. I decided that I went ahead and made an effort to. I have plenty of projects kitted up, ready to go for 2021 to begin with in January with my goals and things like that. But part of my purchasing that I've done in this month of November is for the intention of building projects to be ready to go like mid-year or late next year. So that way I don't run into, so even though I am looking at a 2-month production time for the new fabric. I just put it in order. Like, it's fine. Like, I'm not expecting to work on those projects for at least 3 to 4 more months from now. So it's, but I am kind of like, let's go ahead and, like, when I know I want to work on something and I plan on working on it sooner rather than later, that I'll go ahead and kit that up as opposed to kitting it up when I plan on working on it. So that's kind of my lesson of COVID. And, again, it is what it is. So that being said, I only worked on one project in November because I only had one project that was ready to go, and that was Hello Pumpkin. I don't have a previously before because it was a very tiny start from before, so there's no real reason. So all I did, for last time you saw it, I had only done this basic start where I had put in this little branch, and that was it. I hadn't done anything else. But this is what I've done in the last couple of weeks, and so this fox took forever. Like, there's something I will say about Hello Pumpkin that I don't know what was going on. I frogged a lot in Hello Pumpkin. I don't know what it is. My brain just was not digging the counting, and so I had to frog a lot. And so it's taking me a little longer because at least once every 2 to 3 days, I would be like, I made a mistake. I still have a mistake in one of these things in this corner. I'm not fixing it. By the time I realized I had gone too far. And I was like, no, to fix that would be like undoing at least an hour's worth of work. And I was like, I'm willing to frog something where it's like, not too much of a refixing it. But I bet you eagle eye folks will find the mistake. But most people don't know where that is. I'm not going to care. I will probably forget eventually where that mistake is. So this is where it is. I love it. Like, I'm gonna say that I like quirky things. I'm a nerd, right? And I like geeky things. So I was a little surprised that I was drawn to the Hello Pumpkin. Hello Dear. Autumn is my favorite season, which is terrible because I live in Texas. Autumn does not exist in Texas. I live in the Houston area. It definitely does not exist in the Houston area. We get like a week of nice weather that's like considered autumn, and then like that's it. Like it's it was still hot. Like it was in the 80s. I don't know what that is in Celsius. High 20s, the 20s, something in the 20s. We just had a cold front move in, and our cold front puts us into the 50s. So like it's just not too bad. But that's how it goes where we are. It goes from like 80s, you need your air conditioning on, because it's also really humid, and so it's like bleh. And then like cold front comes in, and now it's in its 50s, and I know that the rest of the world, like, that's probably like autumn. That's cold for us. Like, we're like, we don't know how to handle that. Texas, it's great. So, anyways, but this is where I am on Hello Pumpkin. I'm loving it. I really am enjoying it. It is a very fun stitch. It comes together really quickly. Despite me having the week off, I didn't like spend all day stitching. I did do other things, and so this isn't like, I'm not sure how many hours I put into this, but my goal, so this is it. This is all I had to show you. So let's start talking about plans for December in Flossmas. So my goal is that today's the 29th, and so I got a couple of days left in November. I'm going to continue to focus on Hello Pumpkin. So you will see my final progress on this before I turn to my holiday winter stitching for Flossmas, video 1 for Flossmas. My goal is to finish the page, so which is this part right here. There is an owl that's right here. For those of you, obviously, Hello Pumpkin, the Hello series is really popular, right? So everyone's seen it. But the owl that's right here, that's not going to be part of my goal. Like, my goal is to finish all of the other elements, and my stretch goal would be to finish the owl and get me into starting page 2. But the goal is to finish page 1, and then that way when I pick it up again next year, that it will be, I'll just be working on page 2. So that's the initial plans for to finish out November. Now, I am going to go ahead and do Flossmas. I know. I'm not going to be doing giveaways. I'm not a big floss tuber where I have a huge number of people. I don't know though. Maybe if I pick up subscribers along the way, maybe I'll do a giveaway in the end. But I'm not expecting that to happen. So, but but I am going to go ahead and do Flossmas. I like the idea of it, and I like the challenge of it. And since although it's still a very busy time for me at work, it's a different type of busy. It's the year, we're starting to go towards our year end work goal, things that we can do for our year end, which makes it very busy, and we go into the new year like revved up and like, floor to the board, foot to the floor kind of speed type of thing. So there's a lot of work that we have to do in the end of the year to kind of prepare for that. So we get busy, but it slows down in other aspects. And I thought, if I'm going to be able to do a daily kind of video, this is it. Now, I'm not planning on doing my 40-minute videos every day. Like, I'm hoping they're only going to be like 10-minute hop on type of stuff. So, but these are my plans for Flossmas. I will record a short 10-minute video every day, kind of like a coffee chat, but I don't drink coffee. And so I will be doing an advent calendar. I don't drink coffee. I drink tea. And in fact, when I see like Park Hopper Bart's, when he was doing his coffee chat, and then Kokohama Stitchery, she still does her iced coffee chats every once in a while. I was like, well, I wouldn't do I would do tea time with Jessie. And so it's like, because I drink tea. And so I am doing an advent calendar for Adagio teas. And so that's what I'm going to be doing. So I'm very excited about this. It will be a new tea. I did not get the spoilers, so you could get the card with the spoilers. I did not get the spoilers. I'm a pretty basic tea person. Like, I love tea and I drink tea, but I don't drink like wide varieties of tea. And so I'm really excited about what I'm going to discover in this month. So it'll be tea time with Jessie in Flossmas. So that's going to be my advent. That's what I'm going to be working on. Now, stitching, I am going to switch over to holiday stitching and winter stitching. Black Needle Society is doing a 12 days of Christmas, 12 days of stitching type of thing. And now and there's a video, and I'll be sure to link the video for that. And but they are going to be doing a new start like every 2 days. So they're going to be doing six starts, I think is what it comes down. Or is it 12? I think they're doing 12 starts every other. Yeah, it's 12 starts every other day to get through till Christmas. And so they're doing a 12 days of Christmas. Now, I don't have 12 starts. I'm not going to do 12 starts. I'm going to do 1 start. But they were kind of like, no, they just want you to kind of participate in this 12 days of Christmas, do whatever it is, with 12 minutes on a project or things along that line. So I have right now planned 4 projects that I'm going to work on. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on a project a week, essentially. So I'm going to work on 4 projects. I'm going to work on it for 6 days each. And I'm going to do that in a row. So I'm going to focus on that singular project for 6 days. If I happen to finish it, unlikely, but if I happen to finish that project, then I'll go ahead and start the next project in the line. And I do have a couple of options if I, run out of things. But my contribution to the Black Needle Society's 12 days of stitching is going to be that I am going to do 12 hours on each of my projects, right? So I'm going to do 6 days. The goal is to work on each project for at least 2 hours every day, which seems easy, but not always. I don't always get 2 hours of stitching in every day. But that's going to kind of be my plans for my 12 days of stitching. So 6 days on each project, 2 hours each day. If I happen to finish something, I'll just roll up the 6 days from the next project and then tack on a start at the end of it. is kind of how I think I might do it. Of course, I follow the school of thought of I do what I want, so I might change my mind. So these are I have 3 projects ready to go right now, and I'll tell you about my 4th project. So the first one is I'm going to work on polar bears. So this is a shout out and a thank you to Kira at the Sea Dragon's Lair. I'm going to link her down below. She is a relatively new floss tuber, although she makes videos pretty consistently. I think she's up to like 6 now. And one of the plans I have for 2021 in these videos is, I'm going to talk about Kira for a minute and Sea Dragon Lair. When I started these Flosstube videos, honestly, I am a sci-fi fantasy geek. So I think there's lots of nerds out there in the stitching world. There's a lot of Disney nerds. There's a lot of Harry Potter nerds. And I see a lot of those projects. But truth be told, I don't see that many floss tubers who are the fantasy sci-fi geeks that are not Disney or Harry Potter primarily. And there is a couple. Angie was one of the ones that I found who did that. Crafty Gaming Jamie is another one, and she's a big one. Like, she gets a lot of views, you know. And I am in a Facebook group for nerdy stitchers, but I don't see many of them have floss tubes. And so one of the reasons why I did start this is because although I don't work on tons of sci-fi fantasy cross stitching, I want to see it. I want to be enabled by it. I want to find those patterns. I want to make them because that is part of my personality and part of my thing. And so as I find people, I want to elevate them. And so obviously today I just gave a shout out to 3 floss tubers to do fantasy sci-fi stitching, and I include anime in that category, because a lot of anime, not all anime, but a lot of anime is in that sci-fi fantasy kind of category. And so as I find people who do that kind of stitching and do, you know, I'm hoping to share them. I've actually started a little Google spreadsheet, you know, so that way, because again, while there are like lists and things out there that exist, and so the nerdy stitchy group, she has started a master post where people can share their floss tubes, but it's mostly for vendors. But you know, so I'm hoping to be able to get those. But anyways, join that group if you're interested in that kind of stuff. But again, I don't have a lot of viewers. So I don't know like how much I'm elevating people, but and when I see them and I like them, I'm going to share them with you. And so Kira from Sea Dragon's Lair is one of them, and she does. She's a Miyazaki Studio Ghibli fan, and so she has a couple of projects that she does with that. She also has some other cute projects that she works on, kind of a similar aesthetic to my cutesiness. And so, and she does a lot of other different types of crafts, and she's done some great little like finishes, and she just did a video on doing a Christmas card with a Christmas tree coloring. And so anyways, I really enjoyed watching her, and she's new. Go give her a look. I think you'll enjoy her if you enjoy my videos. So anyways, she in a comment had talked about how this would be a good winter stitching, and I agree. If you saw my last video, you'll realize that this was a find in my cleaning and my 2020 resolutions of organizing. I found this, and it's officially my oldest WIP, because this is probably from when I was in high school, copyrighted in 1992. And so I was like, you know what, I found it. It was meant to be found. It's a WIP, so I'm going to work on this. I'm going to start on this one first. So this is going to be my first project. It's not very big. It's 8x10 finished size. I say that, and then I'm like, in comparison, because I've been doing much bigger pieces, that, you know, so we'll see. So that's going to be project number 1, is polar bears. Next up is I don't have this printed in color, so I will stick a picture here. But next up is going to be Frosted Pumpkins Winter Carriage. My color printer broke. I don't have a color printer, so I'll put the picture here. But I'm going to be doing Winter Carriage. And for Frosted Pumpkin, I do have all of the seasons, so I plan on finishing those next year. But that's going to be project number 2. I intentionally am doing the smaller projects up front, because I'm hoping that maybe by some miracle I'll actually finish them, and then I'll feel really accomplished in December. we're having 2 finishes. So, but that will be project number 2 is going to be Winter Carriage from Frosted Pumpkin. Number 3, I have not started it, although everyone else seems to have already finished it, is going to be Hello Dear. I will try to pull up the picture of it. It's now done. The full sal, the stitch along, all of the parts are out. So there is a complete picture done. I will try to find that picture and stick that here. And, but I will then work on Hello Dear and work on that. That's going to be number 3. That's going to be project number 3. Project number 4 is I have pre-ordered the Christmas tree by Barbara Anna from Nika Maspa. It has been shipped. She shipped it about a week and a half ago, maybe 2 weeks ago at this point in time. When I ordered the magic tree or the tree of magic from Nika, I think it took about a month to get here. So that's my 4th project. It's in order. It's on its way. I hope it will arrive. Well, we're looking at 18 days. Like, hopefully it arrives by December 18th. Because that will be the last project that I will work on going into Christmas. So I am planning on starting that one. So these are the Polar Bear and Winter Carriage are whips. They're in progress. But Hello Dear and the Christmas tree will be new starts. And, you know, if by some reason I run out, I push everything up and I want to have another start. I do have a couple of other things that are in order and I'm getting the supplies in for, which is going to be the single sampler. And then I also have 2 that I ordered from Force Owl Embroidery that are in transit. They have been shipped from Russia, which is the Christmas sampler and then the New Year pennants. Now, I had not planned on working on New Year pennants until next year. Like, that was going to be a next year project. Christmas sampler I had hoped to start this year, but I haven't gotten the fabric for it. So we'll, you know, so it's unlikely that I'll be able to start that. But who knows? Maybe, you never know, right? So those are my stitching plans. So so if anything, if I bring in a 5th project, it's going to be the Sing a Sampler, I think. So because that is actually mostly fully kitted. I have about half of the floss and I have the fabric for it. I just placed I just finished doing the color conversion for it, and you know, so I just placed those orders for as part of Black Friday. That's it. Yeah, I don't think I have anything else. I have no haul, so to speak. Even, you know, most of the haul I'm getting now is fabric and floss, so it's not really anything to shout about. But and yeah, all right. Well, with that, I'm going to just call it a day. I'm going to go ahead and get this edited and hopefully uploaded later on this evening. Otherwise, I haven't quite decided how I'm going to do my Flossmas. You know, Erin at 2 Martini Stitch, she says she's going to record hers the night before and upload them the next morning, which seems like the smart thing to do. She's very smart, so I feel like that's a smart thing. But I also don't know. So we'll see. I might try that, because then that means I'm recording tomorrow night as opposed to on Tuesday. We'll see. But otherwise, I'll see you on Tuesday. Yeah, all right. In the meantime, I hope everyone is having a stitching good time, and I hope that everyone is staying safe, being healthy, had a great Thanksgiving for those of us who were celebrating it, and then welcome to December, everyone. Take care.